Hi, Dr. Shelby here. Today I'm going to talk about a science fiction movie called Downsizing, spoilers ahead. I hope you enjoy watching this video. A team of scientists are working on some sort of experiment. Dr. Jorgen and his colleague, Andreas, are ecstatically discussing a successful experiment. 5 years later, Andreas is giving a presentation to a packed audience in an Italian convention center. He has his own box, which he meticulously places on the podium. He then delivers a speech to the audience about the bad effects of global warming and the resulting scarcity of food and water. He goes on to say that their idea will not only lessen global warming, but will also address the issue of natural resource shortage. He claims that this is the only viable and humane solution to humanity's most pressing issue. The contents of the box are then revealed by him. When the crowd notices a little Dr. Jorgen in the box, they gasp. He has the appearance of a typical human being, however he is much smaller. No one can believe what they're seeing. They take a step forward to get a better look at Dr. Jorgen. Dr. Jorgen claims that he and his team invented a method 5 years ago that removes all organic material to a microscopic size. A vast number of plants and animals were used to evaluate the method, which revealed that it is irreversible yet has no negative effects. 36 volunteers joined Dr. Jorgen's team, and they've been living as small people ever since. The crowd cheered enthusiastically. This is the most significant discovery ever made in human history. The idea of downsizing is now being discussed. People all over the world are stunned as appealing advertisements about the finding are presented on television. One of the viewers is Paul Safranek. He is fascinated as he watches the advertisement. He returns home to his ill mother, Paul's only living relative. She bemoans the downsizing program. It's been 10 years, and Paul's mother has long since passed away. Paul is now married to Audrey Safranek and works as an occupational therapist. The couple is having financial difficulties. The Safraneks attend their high school reunion. They run into old friends Dave and Carol Johnson, who have recently downsized. Because of their interest in miniature life, Paul and Audrey attend a Leisureland convention the next day. There, a downsized man tells them the advantages of being downsized. He stands in front of them, showing them the mansion of his dreams. The lavish life of the miniatures fascinates Paul and Audrey. They then go to a viewing area where they can see the sights of Leisureland. When the couple sees Leisureland, they decide to downsize as well. They meet an agent who informs them that their $152,000 is worth $12 million in Leisureland. Paul and Audrey are astounded. We later see them selling their possessions at a yard sale in order to sell everything and live as miniatures. The two put their rings in a box later that night to be carried to their miniature house when they move. They drive to the Leisureland convention the next day. Audrey, however, seemed to have doubts about the choice. In the waiting room, they are segregated. They shave Paul's head and eyebrows off at the start of the downsizers are then transferred to the incubation hall, where they are now delicately scooped up with a spatula and placed in miniature beds. Finally, the procedure is completed, and the people who have been downsized are sent to rest. Paul is alone in the waiting area when he wakes up. A nurse welcomes him and presents him with a large cracker as a gift. Then, at the airport, we witness a bald Audrey with only one eyebrow. Paul is surprised to learn that Audrey fled away as they began shaving her eyebrow. Through the phone, the two yell at each other. Paul is now the only one in the new miniature city. Paul and Audrey have divorced. He is currently employed in a call center and he is dating Kristen. They're having dinner one night when Paul's upstairs neighbor, Dusan, walks in to say he's throwing a party. After Kristen and Paul break up, Paul decides to go to Dusan's party. Paul is having a great time. He kisses a random female and takes one of her pills. Paul is taken over by the drug, and he has a great time for the rest of the night. When the cleaning crew arrives, one of them limps, which attracts Paul's attention because he is an occupational therapist. He invites her to take a seat and assists her with her prosthetic legs. Ngoc Loan Tran, a Vietnamese political activist who was imprisoned and downsized against her request. Ngoc Loan's story was once broadcasted all over the world, but it soon faded away. There, Paul assists Ngoc Loan with her prosthetic limb, but he fractures it in the process. Ngoc Loan has him do her cleaning work till her new prosthetic legs arrive as a result of his screw-up. They gather leftover food from the people for whom they work for and return it to Ngoc Loan's community, where it is redistributed to the community members. Ngoc Loan gets a cleaning job at Downsizing one day. Downsizing is astonished when he sees Paul working as a cleaner and mocks him. He invites Paul to accompany him and his friend Joris Conrad in traveling to Norway, where the first little community was founded. Ngoc Loan, on the other hand, insists on accompanying him because she was contacted by Dr. Jorgen, the doctor who started it all. The doctor, who lives in the same colony as Ngoc Loan, was eager to see her because of her courageous protests in Vietnam. Chris, Downsizing and Joris almost do not believe her. They leave for Norway. A few days later, all of them are traveling in Downsizing's yacht. They suddenly encountered Dr. Jorgen and his wife in their own yacht going to the colony as well. Ngoc Loan ultimately sees Dr. Jorgen, who apologizes for inadvertently using his procedure on her. The group is briefed about the methane leak in Antarctica, which will significantly accelerate global warming. This can't be prevented, and because of the massive overpopulation, it's impossible to stop it. In 100 years, the human race will become extinct. Downsizing was done to lessen the risk to some extent, although only 3% of the world's population gets downsized. Later, Ngoc and Paul are in her cabin alone. Paul examines her legs. As a result of one thing leading to another, they end up sleeping together. They arrive at the first colony the following morning. The residents there have built a massive vault inside a mountain to protect humanity in the event of extinction. The entire village, as well as Dr. Jorgen and his wife, want to enter the vault the next day. Paul, inspired by Dr. Jorgen's words, also wishes to join the colony. Ngoc asks Paul if he slept with her because he feels sorry for her. Paul responds that he cares about her, but the vault gives him a purpose in life. He returns and hugs her. The vault's door shut down permanently. They return to the land of leisure.